Hi guys, Neil Tappin here from Golf Monthly, and as you can see, I'm stood next to the Mizuno Tour Truck. This is where it lives when it's not out on tour. This is Bearwood Lakes Golf Club near London, where Mizuno have their tour fitting studio. So if you're a Mizuno player and you want to do some work on your equipment away from the sort of hustle and bustle of the tour, you'll come to Bearwood Lakes, you'll get fitted out on the driving range here in the Mizuno studio, and then you'll be able to come onto the tour truck where the guys can make up the clubs in exactly the right spec for you. Now, the Mizuno Tour Truck does roughly 16 weeks out on tour every year, on the European tour that is, and they're servicing all of the players that they sponsor, but also a lot of players that they don't sponsor who might be using wedges or irons or whatever it might be from Mizuno, ensuring that any player, any professional that needs Mizuno equipment has what they need. This is there to offer them all the support that they need. Now, the guys at Mizuno very kindly show me around, and then they've given me the keys so that I can show you around. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so as you walk onto the Mizuno Tour Truck, you come straight into the workshop area, and really this is what these tour trucks are all about. There are machines for everything, so loft and lie, checking machines, there are drills, there are the grinding machines, so if you want to take some of the material out of the toe or the heel of your wedge, for instance, just to get exactly right performance for you, they've got the heavy grinders and then the polishing machines that allow them to do that. There's the club weight checking machine, so you lay it on there, you can check the weight of the shafts, weight of the clubs, shaft cutters, everything you need to be able to build a set of golf clubs is on this truck, and it's fully operational. But of course, they also stash an awful lot of their product on the truck as well. And the first thing that you come to when you come on are the irons. Now, obviously, Mizuno are renowned for making fantastic, beautiful sets of irons, and they have a lot of sets out on tour. So in here you find a bank of irons for the MP18, the MP18 SC, which is the slightly more forgiving version, the MP18 MMC, which is more forgiving still. There's a whole drawer for each of those. If I open up the first one, I'll show you. This is the MP18. This is the most blade-like of those three MP irons. If I can get that to focus. Hands up if you like the look of that. Hands up if you're not good enough to use it. Anyway, they carry an awful lot of that product in here as well. If I go further down, you'll also find a whole host of JPX irons. Now, Mizuno launched the JPX irons a couple of weeks ago, and they've been really popular with the guys out on tour. The guys were telling me they're already fitting quite a few players into the new JPX irons. This is the tour version. This is the slimmest of the three JPX irons. There's JPX Tour, Forged, and Hot Metal. And as you can see, they look absolutely stunning as well. And so the guys are very, very busy at the moment putting some of their players into these irons. Now, if you are something of a Mizuno fan or a golf equipment fan, you'll know that Brooks Koepka uses Mizuno irons. He's not contracted, but he uses Mizuno irons, and he uses the JPX 900. This is the older version of the JPX. He used this model to win the US Open at Erin Hills, the US Open at Shinnecock Hills, and obviously the US PGA as well. So fantastic success with this set of irons. Waiting to see whether he'll change into the new ones. But they carry some of their old models just in case they have players still using some of the old stuff. Right, so let's move further down the truck. Here you have a few different heads. So you have, there's some wedge heads in here, which I'll come back to you and show you in a minute. But you'll also find some wood heads, some other irons are in here as well. Let me just find you. So there's the Mizuno GT180 fairway wood there. That's the one with the movable weight in the bottom of the sole. There are some Fly High, some of the brand's Fly High hybrids in there as well. And so there's a bit of everything they need for the guys on tour. Further back, you have the shafts. Now, Mizuno have one of the biggest banks of shafts out on tour. Really, if there is any shaft you need, this truck should carry it. And what you see out here isn't all of it, actually. There's some stashed in storage underneath where I'm standing that dates back as far as 12 years, because there are some players on tour using product that is very, very old indeed. They know what they like, and they want to keep using it. So if you've got a very random shaft that dates back a decade and it breaks, the chances are somebody on the Mizuno truck will know where a replacement can be found. Otherwise, everything else is out here. Everything from Dynamic Gold to Diamana. Over in this corner, you have all the KBS shafts. All the graphite shafts are in the middle here. So you've got Tensei, Mitsubishi Tensei shaft, everything. don't need to name them all. Everything is here. Over in this corner, you have some shafts that are ready for Eddie Pepperell. Obviously, he's a Mizuno staff player. He uses KPS S-Taper 130 shafts. Just there. Then as you move up, you have the bank of grips, and the guys at Mizuno were telling us that by far the most popular grip out on tour this year has been the Golf Pride multi-compound Align grip. Now, let me just show you this. This has a line that runs up the back of the grip, and it just helps with the consistency of placing your hands on the golf club. That line just helps you get a feel for exactly where your hands should be. It's been really popular, and actually you can tell it's been so popular because that's the one that there are fewest of on the tour truck here. So as you move up, you get to the wedges, and really Mizuno carry quite a few wedges, but lots of different finishes. There's the S18 wedge and also the T7 wedge. Now the T7 wedge, you can see that S18 there in chrome. The T7 is the one you'll notice because it is blue. Here it is. You may well notice Chris Wood is using it, certainly has used it in the past. So that's the blue T7 wedge. Also got some other finishes here. This is the S18 in black. Very smart indeed. So there it is. It is absolutely beautiful, as you'd expect. Mizuno don't really let stuff out that isn't really good looking. Anyway, that's the workshop. Let me show you the rest. So down this end of the truck is where Mizuno stash some of their soft goods. So there's banks of caps. There's a whole host of different caps. Anything that you might want, any different colour scheme that you might want. There's actually one locker here with Luke written on it, which I presume means Luke Donald. The guys at Mizuno can correct me if I'm wrong. So that's for Luke. There's also some golf balls here. Now, Mizuno say they've had a player who's done really well on the Challenge Tour this year, who's used Mizuno golf balls in the past, so you can expect to see these possibly out on the European Tour next year. We'll wait and see on that one. There's also Mizuno towels, loads of those. I'm sure the caddies are in regularly looking for new towels, and beanies as well. Now, obviously, the next tournament where this truck will be out will be the Dunhill up in Scotland, so players are going to want beanies and waterproofs as well, not just the players but the caddies too. So if they're looking for anything, they'll come on the truck, they'll grab what they need. These are the waterproof trousers up here, the waterproof tops are over there, and then below us we have all the umbrellas. Now to my right hand side there are a couple of sets of irons that have just been made up for some of the tour staff, Ollie Fisher and Ross Fisher. So I'm going to just pick up Ollie Fisher's set of irons here. This is a set of Mizuno JPX Tour irons. And if I show you, I don't know whether you can see there or not, there's a little stamp of a fish. He did some testing with the guys and they've just built him a set. They're going to send it over so that he can get to putting those in his golf bag. And it's the same story, same model with Ross Fisher too. And then right at the front, this is the front of the tour truck, is the meeting room. So a couple of sofas, there's a fridge in the corner there, a sink in the other corner, and if there are any meetings that need to take place, this is where those meetings happen. In fact, I was on the tour truck at the Open Championship earlier on this year where Mizuno were showing to certain members of the press the new JPX range of irons, and it was sat here that their guys were showing us those new irons. They can put the presentation on the screen there and it all works seamlessly. There are certain meetings that have to happen every week, and this is a great place to do that. Now, one other thing I'd spotted during my tour earlier that I wanted to tell you about. So, cast your mind back to the Open Championship and think about Johnny Vegas, who his clubs went missing, I believe, in transit. And Mizuno he's a Mizuno staff player, Mizuno had to find him a new set of irons. But the problem was that Johnny Vegas was using quite an old set of MP4 irons. And they had a set on the tour truck, but they were missing the 6 iron and the 8 iron. Now they found a 6 iron from their factory, but the 8 iron had to come from a staff member who very kindly supplied his 8 iron. The guys on the truck here took the shaft out, put a new shaft in it for Johnny Vegas, spec'd it up exactly right for him so that he could go out in the first round of the Open Championship using a set of irons that he loves and that he knows, etc. Anyway, this is a flag signed by Johnny Vegas to the guys on tour for such a sort of mammoth effort in helping him to get ready for the Open Championship. And then just on the other side, we have just a whole host of Mizuno head covers. So anyone needing a head cover, there's a huge box on here. Well, there you have it. That's the inside of the Mizuno Tour Truck, and what an amazing Aladdin's cave it is. There's all sorts to be found on there. I've only really just scratched the surface. If you have any questions, please do post them below. Also hit the like button. That will allow us to convince as many of the manufacturers as possible to give us the best possible access they can to their equipment, to their facilities and their players as well. But for now, from Bearwood Lakes, it's goodbye.